And with Biden out of the way, as Peter said, and Kamala the nominee, Democrats thought they'd glide into Chicago as a united party. And it would just be a lot of hobnobbing with celebrities, a lot of good vibes, with the Harris-Walz ticket on the rise. But instead, their campaign decided to roll the dice and introduce a socialist-style economic agenda on Friday. And now they're on the defensive.
This isn't about trying to price fix. It's just making sure that the economy is operating the way it should.
I think it's not unreasonable for her to say that the federal government should do what many states have already done, which is focus on that price gouging.
People are reading too much into what has been put out there.
Okay, is that actually her answer? Essentially, it's don't take Kamala seriously. And what a fraud J.B. Pritzker is. Okay, a billionaire heir of a hotel empire is now suddenly embracing what? Federal investigations of price gouging and a market as complex and competitive as the food industry? Then tell us, how are price ceilings actually set, J.B.? Using what criteria, pray tell? Wait, I have an idea. If it's so great, let's broaden it all out. Broaden out Kamala's plan to include the hospitality industry and start with Hyatt. Now, yesterday, 2 days before the DNC kickoff, a devastating takedown in, of all places, the Washington Post from their editorial board. The Times demands serious economic ideas. Harris supplies gimmicks. The Financial Times pretty much summed it up. Democrats on defensive after Harris's economic plans poorly received. Kamala's plan was panned by Obama's economic advisor, Jason Furman, saying, I think the biggest hope is it ends up being a lot of rhetoric and not reality. There's no upside here, and there is some downside. And one of Harvard's top economists, Kenneth Rogoff, was even more harsh.
How much does corporate price gouging actually impact inflation? And is there evidence of this happening a lot?
No, I don't think corporate price gouging has all that much to do with it. I hope she walks this one back. She had some good ideas, some mixed ideas. This was a horrible idea.
And even before this plan came out, the polls, which had run up some for Harris during her honeymoon phase, have started to stall and even turn back in Trump's favor. The National Rasmussen poll of nearly 1,900 likely voters has him up nationally 49 to 45. And on the top three issues that mattered most to Americans, Trump is still trouncing Harris. Now, those are the numbers, remember, that really matter, and we're going to dive into them shortly with Bret Baier. But this is what you get, isn't it, when your candidate simply reads what other people cobble together for her. And when she can't really defend what the heck she's been doing for the past 3.5 years, it's all platitudes all the time.
Our election is about understanding the importance of this beautiful country of ours in terms of what we stand for around the globe as a democracy. As a democracy, we know there's a duality to the nature of democracy. On the one hand, incredible strength. We are all in this together.
Oh, that's inspiring. If maybe you're a high school guidance counselor, no offense to high school guidance counselors. For all the Democrat attacks on Trump for hitting her with personal criticisms and some ridicule, personal attacks are all the Democrats really have to offer. I was sitting there today watching former Louisiana Governor Mitch Landrieu with Al Sharpton.
How do you build on the momentum this week?
You know, a lot has changed in the last 30 days, but the one thing that hasn't changed is Donald Trump is still a convicted felon. Donald Trump has been determined to be a sexual abuser, a business fraud. Donald Trump was a terrible president who left the economy of this country in a shambles, and Donald Trump is about darkness and grievance. That has not changed.
Okay, the question was, what can you do to build on Kamala's momentum? He pretty much gave it away there. The momentum is over, contrary to all the headlines you're going to be seeing over the next couple of days. What an astounding intellect. It's an embarrassment. Of course, Louisiana is going to go big for Trump in November, his home state. And over the weekend, Don Lemon found out that all the spin about taco recipes and joyful campaigns, it can't change the brutal facts that most Americans are not better off after 3.5 years of Biden-Harris than they were in 2019 under Trump. even in blue New Jersey.
Well, I want Donald Trump.
Who you support? I support Trump. All the people that came to this country legally, it's not fair that they're letting all 10,000 to 15,000 people or 20,000 people here illegally.
4 years ago, it was a lot better. I made a lot more money than I do now.
I know you feel that way, but that's not actually what the record shows. The economy is actually better under Biden.
Well. Good for Don Lemon for getting out there and talking to real people. He also went to Pittsburgh and Cleveland, where he asked the same questions. But even though some supported Kamala, many agreed they were better off 4 years ago. What does that tell you? Stick with the economic message. Now, I think you'd find a lot of people saying they're not as well off as they were 4 years ago if he did the same thing in Chicago. And that's where we will be all week covering the substance, to the extent there is any substance, and the celebrity circus of the DNC. And I will tell you this, the Democrats need a huge convention to reignite any lasting momentum for Harris, and even then it will be hard. But they'll do their best to make Kamala shine in the Globama of Barack and Michelle. But I'm telling you, there's a risk there as well, because it might just be that everyone sees the Globama and realizes that she is not Barack Obama. More on that in a bit.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.